All right, hey guys, Jason here, and we're going to talk about tent stakes today, and I'll give you a little bit of advice on some of that kind of stuff for any tent you're using, and some extra tips in here. So first of all, these little flimsy tent stakes that you get, that you can even buy, they're not real good. They bend. I can probably even... Yep, I can bend that a little bit there by hand. These are not very good tent stakes. They might work for some little bitty small low profile dome tents, but I'm not a fan of them. Same with the plastic ones. Hit these one time with a hammer. They tell you use a rubber mallet, but even so, these things, if you go to step and push them in, they break. They're a problem. I'm not a fan of these either, these types of tent stakes. There's way better options and they're very affordable. So we're going to cover those today. First of all, if you are going to use tent stakes of any kind, you're going to need to make sure you have hammers with you. I can't tell you how many times I forgot to bring a hammer with me. So I make a point in every tent bag, or every tent bin, I should say, in my bins. These little, right here, these little cheap $5 hammers, these small ones, I make a point to throw one of these in every tent bin I have, just as a backup. Now, it's not my main tent stake hammer, but I throw it in as a backup, and it stays in the actual tent bin, you know, where my stakes are and all that stuff, just to be on a safe side. They're really small and convenient, but that way, if you do forget to bring a hammer, you always have one with you, and they're, like I said, they're like $5 or $6 at Harbor Freight, and you can use it to pound in anything you need. So always have that extra hammer with you, to be on the safe side. As far as hammers go, this one here is actually, I've had this hammer for a very long time, and I just started using it now this year, and I love it. But this is called the Groundhog or something. You get it from trapping supply stores. 5-pound hammer, and it's got this wedge on the back for trappers to be able to dig hole sets. But it's perfect. Not only does it, you know, very nice and easy to boom, one hit and that stake, rather than taking this and sitting here and literally and moving it like this every you hear these guys at the thing doing this non-stop to try and get it down there and bang bang bang. With this, it's like this, boom boom, and you're done. It's really just that much easier. And then when you got to get the stakes out, you can pry this up with this. So, and these are not expensive. I think they're like 20 or 24 bucks. Amazon might sell them, I don't know. But I got it from trapping supply stores, but it's called the Groundhog or something like that. But these are pretty sweet hammers. This thing is going to be in my trailer all the time now for my camp or for my trips. But ultimate stake pounding and pulling hammer as far as I'm concerned. Now, with that said, stake-wise, okay, we already said we don't like these. Let me give you an example. Let's look at this. Here's what Kodiak canvas, like you see right behind me, we just got done seasoning our new 10x14. We got the 10x10. These are the stakes that come with the Kodiak canvas. Look at the difference there, okay, between this and that. Okay, Kodiak canvas makes a great stake. It is a very, very good stake, very quality stake that they give you. And if you want them for other tents, you can buy just the stakes. Kodiak canvas on their website does sell just the stakes, so that's a good option. Another one is just this simple nail stake right here. This this spike that I got from Home Depot. These galvanized spikes. I'll tell you how big they are. What does that look like there? That's going to be that is going to be 1/4 inch diameter, and lengthwise is going to be, so it's a just under 12 inch, so it's probably 11.5 inch is what it is, but 11.5 inch, 12 inch spike, galvanized spike. I've been using these. These are what I used on my wall tent religiously for the past 12 years. Love these things, and they're not that expensive, and they're not heavy, they work, but they work incredible. They're very, very good. And you can see the difference again. Look at the size difference between a normal spike. Here it is next to a Kodiak canvas stake. Okay, very, very similar. The best tent stake ever used that I've ever came across is this one right here. Showing you again a difference. Okay, and it's pretty unique where I found these at, but we'll show you. And then here it is next to this. And again, just for fun reference. Okay, but this is by Coggin. Collins or however you say it, but I got these at Walmart, believe it or not. They're like $2.25 or something, $2.50 a stake, $2.50 a stake, so they're not ridiculously expensive. This is a beast of a stake. These are what I got. I bought 10 of these, every one they had, and I'm using them in my my clam shelter. But these things are awesome. They got a good hook that's going to hold on there nice spot right there for hitting. Great tent stake. Again, you can get them online or at store at Walmart, but it is by far, look at the thickness of this compared to the amazing Kodiak canvas tent stake. Look at the thickness of that difference. I mean, this thing is a beast of a stake and very affordable. So this is by far one of my favorites. And this is another one that I haven't used yet. But like I said, in my clam shelter, these are what I switched everything to. So fantastic option. Now, another thing you can do is you can go with leg bolts. This tent behind me is held down right now with legs. Okay, so this is a 3-inch leg bolt, or a 3/8 in diameter, 3/8 by 10-inch leg bolt. Okay, and then I have a 1.5-inch fender washer on this. These are super cheap. I bought 25 of these for $35. So that makes them about $1.10 a thing. And then the washers, I got like 50 washers for 10 bucks. So they're not expensive. And then here's an 8-inch version, which I got 25 of these on Amazon, but I got 25, I'll link them below for you, 25 of these, and I think it was like 24 bucks, so $1 a piece. But you can see a difference. And what's nice about these, when I put them in the ground and I did my testing on them, like I stick this in the ground, I can very easily walk over there with any other stake, grab a stake like this and hook on it and pull it right up and out very easily. These are near impossible to pull out. Like I had to put rope around them and everything, and I was pulling as hard like you have to unscrew them. Now you could, but you take huge chunks of sod with it too. I mean, these things bite like crazy. Matter of fact, they bite so good that originally I had the 10-inch. I also went and bought the 8-inch because I don't think I need the 10-inch all the time. So fantastic options there for you too. Now, if you're going to run leg bolts, you're going to need something to put them in there. So if you're putting them in the ground, this here, this CC, they sent this to me, I asked them for it, but this I wanted for my truck because this is a 1/2-inch drive impact gun. This thing's got 3 different speeds, 3 power outputs. It comes with 2 batteries. It comes with this case. Look at this setup in here. And it has all your different sizes for every lug nut right here for you and extensions. Comes with the charger, and it comes with 2 batteries in this case. This thing is phenomenal, and it's so affordable. Like $130, and it also has it has the best reviews I've ever seen. I love it. I've had it now for 2 weeks. This thing is incredible, and it's variable power, so I can really take my time on those stakes, or I can go fast, but I can do whatever I want. But this, since I have it in my truck anyway for changing tires or anything I need to work on, or if I see somebody else with a flat, how many times have you changed a flat tire for somebody else? Okay, if your answer is 0, you're probably not really doing things right. Okay, when you see somebody on the side of the road and they got a flat tire, you try and help them. And I do it all the time. And you get tired of having to fight with that. Well, having this kit now, I see somebody on the side of the road, we jack that thing up, rent, and we're done. Tire off, put the new one on, and you're done. So quick, simple, and easy. The only thing I'm waiting on for that is my my torque extensions on there so that I don't over torque nothing. Those are coming from Amazon. But this thing is very valuable to have in my truck. Since I have it anyway, I went ahead and got a 9/16 socket, 1/2 inch, and that's what these leg bolts take right here. And we're good to go. That's it, sweet, simple, and easy. I'll show you an insert of putting these in and out, but they are, no more of this. Sweat dripping off, you walk to the next one, and then hitting your tent and ripping holes in your tent because you skip off the side of it and you miss and you end up hitting your tent and you're damaging your tent. None of that. This thing right here, done. Like that, pull them out, done. That simple. So I love this setup, running this thing here. These are a game changer. Now, as far as carrying them, I make sure, because I'm a redundancy freak, even here and here, you see I got a ratchet. So if this became a problem and did die on me, I could still, for my bolts, I could ratchet it out if I needed to get it up high enough where I can pull it out. So you have that option. I put one of them in there. Again, a cheap Amazon one. This is a Harbor Freight, but they're like $8. Nothing to it, nothing fancy. It'll get the job done. To carry stakes, I make sure that I leave all of my stakes, like for my Kodiak canvas tent, all the Kodiak canvas stakes that come with it will stay in that tent. They will stay with it, okay? So in my clam shelter, these stay in my clam shelter. So all my tents keep their original stakes with the particular tent. However, I carry this, okay? This is my tent stake bag right here. This right here, my tent bolts. So inside of here, we have set up in here, I put this one in here to show you an example of one of these. But we have our 10-inch bolts and our 8-inch bolts are all in here. And I have the rest of them in there, but I have 30 bolts in here. And then I have 8 extra guy lines right here that I just leave just in case I need them. But I got extra guy lines here. That's what these are. Amazon guidelines, but I have 8 of those. I'll put links below. And I have 30 tent stakes that ride in this little $8 tent stake bag. This here, and it says tent bolts right on it, wrote it right on it. This sits right in my shed, right next to my tents. So if I forget to take this, I'm okay because I have my hammers and I have the original tent stakes that came with them. But I want to take this with me, grab that, so I grab my tent bin, I grab my tent pole bag, and right there where my tent poles sit, I got a shelf in there with my 10 by 10 Kodiak canvas tent pole bag and my 10 by 14 Kodiak canvas tent pole bag, all labeled. This sits right on top of it, right there. So I know when I grab a tent, I grab the pole bag, I grab this too, and then I always have this with me anyway, so I am good to go. So that's kind of gives you some ideas and some pointers on this stuff. But you know, if you're looking for tents or bolts, the bolts have been a game changer. Sorry, I know I'm sweating like crazy. I've been out here doing this all day. We seasoned that, and it is muggy and hot. But the bolts are a absolute game changer. These things are by far the best that I have ever. I cannot believe I waited this long to use these. I really cannot. Blows my mind that I'm so that I just didn't do it. These things are worth their weight in gold. I will put links down below to that kind of stuff. These, like I said, I can't get a link to, but you will find them at Walmart. They are worth their weight in gold. And if you want a good tent stake too, these are excellent here. These are a little bit lighter, these steel stakes from Kodiak canvas, but they're really good and you can buy them right from there too. Or you can get these on Amazon or right from Home Depot. Like I said, a lot of great options. These are doing nothing anymore. These are pretty worthless. So hopefully some pointers and tips for you on a tent stake and tent bolt option. Find out what works for you. Some guys will run 1/2-inch bolts too. I don't think you need to. That 3/8 stuck in here very, very well. I don't think you need it. But if you want to run 1/2-inch, run 1/2-inch. Just buy the fender washers to match. So questions, comments, anything you got, put them down below. Thanks for watching.